Even if you have never followed izone and IVE, you definitely know who Wonyoung is. She's one of the most popular idols in 4th gen, but as you know, popularity comes with a lot of hate, and this is pretty evident in Wonyoung's situation. Everybody probably has a different opinion on her, and I'm sure some people have been influenced by the rumors and probably believe Wonyoung is far from being a great person. She is not the only example of a pretty, talented and successful girl who received hate just for breathing. Other examples are Momoland, Nancy in particular, and Blackpink, specifically Jennie, people that never seem to get it right, and everything they do becomes a problem or a scandal. Wonyoung is probably the most hated idol in 4th gen as of right now, so let's see why such a sweet girl became so despised by K-pop stans. The first instance of Wonyoung receiving hate dates back to 2018, the year she participated in Produce 48 and made it into izone. Let's say not many people were happy about her debuting in the final lineup, let alone about her ending up in first place and becoming the center. The criticism was mainly about her young age and how she was supposedly unfitting for the center role. There is something else that needs to be said. Most people were convinced Sakura should have placed first and should have become the center, so there was an overall sense of annoyance about Wonyoung supposedly stealing Sakura's spot. If I have to be honest, I've never understood what people were talking about when they said Sakura would have been a better center. I personally disagree, and I think Wonyoung has proven to be a great center all along, but that's besides the point. Anyway, back to 2018. People were displeased with her being in the lineup and with her being the center, and this was the first real instance of hatred she received. But things didn't end there. Throughout her career in izone, Wonyoung was naturally treated as the center, meaning she would have a lot of screen time and would be in the center the most. This only pissed more people off, especially Sakura stans who kept on thinking Wonyoung had stolen Sakura's center spot, and this dragged on up until izone's disbandment in 2021. As time went by, people started talking about Wonyoung's supposed personality change, and I feel like this became such a huge topic lately, ever since she debuted in IVE. I'm sure you must have seen people comparing younger Wonyoung to today's Wonyoung, pointing out how now she seems different, saying how she's now cold while she used to be very happy and bright in the past. People have been saying how she's now acting as if she needed to be perfect and she stopped being herself. What I find funny is that people really don't seem to be taking into consideration the fact that so many years passed and Wonyoung is no longer the 14-year-old girl she was years ago. Now she is 18. 4 years have passed, and I refuse to believe that someone could potentially stay the same after 4 years, especially during adolescence, a period in time where you develop and grow much faster. Wonyoung grew up and matured, but that's not all. We should also think about the fact that back in izone she was the youngest member. Back in izone she had 11 older members that took care of her and babied her all the time. Not it's different in IVE. She's no longer the youngest. For the first time she has same-aged friends, and most importantly, she has someone younger than her to take care of. If you follow IVE, you probably know that Wonyoung has stated many times how she loves being an older sister to Isa. She's mentioned how she loves taking care of her and she thanked Isa for giving her the opportunity to be an unknee. Wonyoung's role in IVE is pretty different than her role in izone. Not to mention she grew in the meantime. She matured like everybody does, so calling it a personality change is pretty much the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You probably know what the strawberry incident is, but if you don't, basically it's about Wonyoung being criticized for eating a strawberry with 2 hands, because apparently this is not the normal way you should eat a strawberry, even if that strawberry was pretty big. But still, people started saying how she was trying so hard to be cute while eating it, and this only added fuel to the fire. Considering Wonyoung was already being called a pick-me girl, K-pop stans started throwing this term around without even knowing the meaning of it. A pick-me girl is a girl who puts other girls down in order to be liked by guys and get their attention, so it clearly has nothing to do with Wonyoung. But this still didn't stop people from using this term to describe her. Wonyoung has always been naturally cute, and people could accept it back when she was 14. But now that she's 18 they are acting as if it was unacceptable. Which is funny because then they talk about personality change and say they want to see her being carefree like she was when she was younger. So make it make sense. But anyway, there are plenty of idols who are adults and have a very cute persona. For example J-Hope from BTS. But people don't call him out for it. But if it's Wonyoung it's a problem and she's just being a pick-me, proving once again that double standards will never stop existing. This behavior coming from haters is definitely rooted in jealousy. Wonyoung is pretty and it takes nothing for people to give her attention, and a lot of these haters could only dream of being as successful and as relevant as Wonyoung is at only 18 years of age, so they naturally project their insecurities and jealousy on her. But let me tell you, you can hate on Wonyoung all you want, but you will never be noticed by your oppa. Wonyoung's whole personality has been called fake. Just to make an example, if any member in IVE compliments another member, then it's perfectly fine, but if Wonyoung compliments one of her members, then she's definitely faking it and not being sincere. I've seen people that know nothing about IVE speaking on the members' bond, insinuating they dislike each other, and Wonyoung is mostly the target of these baseless accusations. According to haters' narrative, she is not genuine with her members, she doesn't really care about them and only gives fake compliments. I've also seen people saying Wonyoung is no longer close to the IZ*ONE members, saying she doesn't care about them anymore and she has never truly cared during her IZ*ONE days either. And let's not forget how Wonyoung hasn't only been called fake, she's also being called rude. She sometimes can't even look at her members or anyone else for that matter, and someone will make it seem as if she was glaring at them in annoyance, as if she hated them or something. Every look she gives, every compliment she gives, everything gets overanalyzed and twisted, making it seem as if Wonyoung was overall a fake and rude person with no genuine love for people she has around. I feel like this comes from the overall image that Wonyoung gives off. If you don't know her, she might look a bit intimidating, just because she's sometimes too perfect to be true, so people tend to dehumanize her, almost considering her as some sort of robot, a robot incapable of manifesting genuine feelings and emotions, even if that's far from the truth. When talking about Wonyoung, we have to address the elephant in the room, the supposed favoritism. She's considered Starship's princess and she's said to be favored in IVE. Every time I hear people saying this, I start thinking that they don't know what being a center means. Every center is somehow getting more attention and this is perfectly normal. Wonyoung was the center in IZ*ONE and it was only logical for her to be the center in IVE as well. Wonyoung has been very popular for many years and many brands want her as an endorser for their products. So it's not like Starship is not allowing the other members to have as many brand deals as Wonyoung. It's just that the brands want Wonyoung the most, and that's because she's already pretty famous. But then again, every member of IVE has had their own brand deals and their own feature on fashion magazines. And with time, as all of the girls will become more and more famous, they will have many more deals under their belt. But moving on, Wonyoung also usually has the most screen time in IVE's music videos, which is fair enough considering she's the center and the visual. But that's about it. The other girls also get opportunities to showcase themselves. Besides their solo brand deals, the other members also have dance, rap and vocal covers they did on their own. Liz and Ray also just had a collab with Lainey on One the K. The members guest on variety shows without Wonyoung as well. So IVE doesn't revolve around Wonyoung as much as you all claim. And what pisses me off the most is that people who talk about favoritism are people that don't even stand the group. Every member has opportunities, you're just not there to see it. But just because you don't see it, it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. All in all, Wonyoung is the center of the group. She was already famous because of her career in IZ*ONE and Starship was just capitalizing on her success. But just because they capitalized on Wonyoung and Eugen's success, it doesn't mean that they never allowed the other girls to shine. In conclusion, I'm afraid that Wonyoung will always be considered as a fake and bad person by many stans, and that's because the rumors will never stop spreading, shining a bad light on her, just like what has happened to Jennie since 2018 and it's still happening now. There's not much we can do to stop these people from spreading fake rumors. The only thing we can do is encouraging people to see for themselves before judging. If people that come across bad rumors about Wonyoung actually checked her out with their own eyes, then I'm sure they wouldn't be fooled into believe such baseless claims. If you are someone who is not familiar with Wonyoung but you think badly of her because of what other people said, then please see for yourself. She is an extremely hard-working girl who takes her job seriously. She's super precious and genuinely cares about her friends, and she's far from the bad person she's being painted as. She was just unlucky because many people happen to project their insecurities and jealousy onto her. Because like I said, pretty, talented and successful women will always be hated on, and most of the time those who hate them are other women themselves, which honestly makes it even sadder. Anyway, this is all I had to say. Hopefully things will get better for Wonyoung and she will stop being 4th gen's punching bag. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks again for watching. Bye guys.